I'm Jim Nelson. I am acting as a volunteer for the American Lung Association Arizona chapter, the COPD Coalition. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about COPD. Obviously, I am familiar with that disease. And attitude, the whole field of attitude toward your world once you have been diagnosed. I was diagnosed about 12 years ago with COPD. My FEV1, which is forced exhalation volume in 1 second, which is measured through a thing called a spirometer by your physician, is at this point 30%. That basically means that my lung capacity, my expiratory capacity, is 30% of what it should be for someone my age, height, and weight, which is not too good. So I have to do things to compensate for that. 1 is wearing oxygen. 2 is exercise, a lot of exercise. And 3 is attitude. Think about your friends, your acquaintances, your family. Think about which ones you enjoy spending time with. Everybody has their own age outlooks, their own goals, and in our case, their own lung capacity. Attitude is affected by outside influences, job, money, family, health, obviously. Some people seem to be able to cope with daily life, with infirmities, with diseases better than others. Everything in life is a trade-off. When you're diagnosed with COPD, you're faced with setting some goals. Your goals can either be to sit down in your recliner and wait to die. That's a goal. Or you can, as I have done, determine to live as long as you possibly can with the disorder. You have to kind of get over yourself in a way. Your attitudes can change. The journey is not easy, but what have you got to lose? One of the things we do lose when we're diagnosed with COPD is control. We cannot control our lives as well as we used to. There are certain things we simply cannot do. There are certain things we have to do more slowly. There are certain things that we have to change the way we do them. How do you change your attitude? Well, if all else fails, there are drugs available. There's a whole pharmacy full of drugs out there. Anti-anxiety, antidepressants, that type of thing. But I recommend that you use that as a last resort because there are other, and in my opinion, better ways of doing it. Talk to somebody. Talk to a family member. Talk to a friend. Talk to a professional counselor. Professional counselors are wonderful. They're trained to handle this sort of thing, to handle depression, to handle anxiety, and I guarantee you're not going to come up with anything that they haven't heard before. So talk to somebody. Define what you're afraid of. Can you put a name to it? Is it infirmity? Is it embarrassment? Is it death? What is it? Worrying is not going to change your COPD. It's not going to change your diagnosis. Depression, on the other hand, can actually worsen COPD. They found that someone who is depressed will not follow their doctor's orders as well as they should. They will not take their medications when they should. They won't exercise the way they should. And it's, again, it's a spiral. It really can make everything else worse. In my particular case, I was diagnosed, as I say, 12 years ago. A couple of years ago, I wound up with double pneumonia in the hospital. Came home and really couldn't do much of anything without simply gasping for air. This was on oxygen. I started exercising very slowly, painfully, and have built up to the point now where I'm actually exercising an hour a day on either a treadmill, an exercise bike, or a stair stepper, or doing something else, playing golf, doing something active every day to build up my muscles so that they use less oxygen, which leaves me more reserve, if you will, and more strength to do what I want to do. And there are things I want to do. Research is excellent. Knowledge is power. There are a tremendous amount of research sources available, and we'll talk about that in another segment. Medical professionals are an excellent source. The pulmonary rehab folks, if you go through pulmonary rehab, have a tremendous amount of knowledge, a tremendous amount of information, and you'll learn a lot from them. Be aware of your body. Be aware of changes that are going on. As you grow older, obviously changes will happen. The harder you exercise, the longer you can put off the exacerbations of COPD, but there will be changes. If you come down with an infection, with pneumonia, you've got to catch it quickly. You've got to know if you start coughing more that something is going on. Go to a physician, find out what's going on. Excuse me, pick your battles. You cannot change the past. You can't make the COPD go away. You can't do anything about your sister who thinks she's dying of cancer because she keeps watching medical shows on TV. You probably can't do anything about your COPD itself, but you can do something about your teenager who's being an idiot, or the dog who just ate something disgusting. So, again, pick your battles. Exercise. I'm an exercise nut. I have become addicted to exercise for a couple of reasons. One, it allows me to do a lot of other things that I want to do. Two, it gives you a delicious feeling of self-righteousness when you're done. That's not a bad thing. Develop a sense of humor about yourself, about your disease, about your situation, about your oxygen tube, if that bothers you. You are the person that you're going to have to spend the rest of your life with. So think back what we were talking about with the friends that you want to spend time with. Try to be one of those. You'll be happier. The people around you will be happier. Your caregivers will be happier. And I'll be happier. Thank you.